Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Loka-shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. A very happy COVID-free New Year to all of you. I've added those two words to my greeting this year. So hopefully the vaccinations have started. A very close friend of mine got her vaccination today. So while she was being given the shot, she took a picture and she sent it to all of us. So help is on the way. Hope you all had a safe and good holiday. I sure did. And now let us come back to this beautiful text, Vivekachudamani, the crest jewel of discrimination. And that is what the Guru has now started. We were told that the fourfold qualifications of a sincere seeker are Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam. So the Guru has now started, the student has approached the Guru, asked his 7 questions. The Guru is very pleased with his questions. And so he has started his discourse. And of course, he starts off with Viveka, discrimination. And the definition of discrimination is the difference between the self and the not self. So the idea is to understand both. We have to understand both if we want to differentiate between them. If I know only one, but I don't know the other one, I might get confused. So we start with the not self, and in the not self, we just straight go to the body, because nobody would think that they are any of the objects in the world. The entire world is not self, but a description of the world is not required, because I don't think that I'm the computer. I don't think that I'm the fridge or the TV or something like that, but I do definitely think that I'm the body. And that's why the teacher starts off with the body. And we started that from verse 72, if you remember, and all the components of the body were told, blood and flesh and this and that. Also, we were told that the body has come from the 5 elements. So the body is made up of the 5 elements, and after destruction, after death, it will go back into the 5 elements. We were also told the process of pentamerous self-division and mutual combination, which in our language is a potluck lunch or a potluck dinner, 5 people. I hope you all remember the story. 5 people, each one bringing in one dish and then dividing it among the 5. So everybody has a full meal. That is what happens with the 5 elements. The half portion remains, the other half divides into 4. That those 4 go to the other elements, and that way they grossify. They are, tanmatra is a word for subtle elements. They are in subtle form, and then they grossify to make the gross body. And our own body is the proof that all these 5 elements are in the body. There is air, there is water, there is space, there is gandha, tanmatra, so which is coming from the earth, and then there is fire, which is in the form of heat. That's why the body has to be maintained at a certain temperature. And then he goes on to explain or say that there are those thoughtless ones who consider themselves to be this matter equipment, these 5 elements, and as long as they continue to identify with the body, they will just come and go. Come and go means what? In this world, they will take birth and die and take birth and die again and again. And then he also gave us the example of the 5 different insects, animals that get trapped just because of one sense organ. If you remember, that's verse 76. Kuranga, Matanga, Patanga, Bhranga, Nara. And with the humans, we are trapped in all 5 sense organs. So we are at a greater risk of falling than the animals. They are only one, one sense object tempts them. So they are at a 1/5 lesser risk than us, but we are tempted in all 5 directions with the senses. And so we need to really think about the defects in this world. Basically, the main defect is that it cannot give us the happiness that we are really looking for. We get these little pleasures when we come in contact with the world, but they're just little, they're fleeting, they're dependent, and so there is no reality to it. So that dosha must be understood correctly before we even think of gaining dispassion or vairagya. And so those who have, okay, and then Bhagwan goes on to say that those who have just that apparent dispassion, I told you there is something known as smashan vairagya, which comes when a death occurs in a family or some illness comes to us. Then we get very dispassionate towards the world, etc. But that dispassion will go away. The dispassion which will come out of knowledge will stay. So it is essential that we get dispassionate, knowing what exactly the not self is. Okay. And then he who has destroyed the shark called sense objects. So it means destroyed the sense objects, not physically, but in his mind, has devalued them. That's what it means. Verse 80, with the sword of mature dispassion, crosses the ocean of samsara. So he says, we cannot physically remove the world. What we can do is devalue it. There is discount and then we just run, 50% discount, Boxing Day, let's go. So we need to discount the world 100%. Only then that dispassion can come. And only then we will be able to cross over. And then he goes on to, in 81, that's where we had 81, 82 were the last verses that we did. Whereas one who sticks to the path of divinity, so that is what is known as Shreya Preya Vivek, which is the starting point given to us in Kathopanishad, that we need to know what is good for me and what is pleasant for me. And at least 80% of the time, we need to choose what is good. Because we are beginning on this path, suddenly we cannot expect everybody to be like doing whatever is good for me 100% of the time, but at least we have to start thinking, is this good for me or is this only pleasing to my senses? Because what is pleasing to my senses will later on become bitter. it'll go away and it'll bring sorrow. But what is good for me? So it has got nothing to do with the senses. It's like, you're asked to take antibiotics, and then it's not pleasing to the tongue. It is not tasty or anything, but you take it anyway because it's medicine. So that is good for you. So it is bitter in the beginning, but better in the end. That path needs to be chosen. Like, it might appear very bitter in the beginning, but ultimately it'll do us good. Okay. And then if you are indeed have a craving for liberation in 82, then avoid the sense objects from a distance. Once again, Bhagwan Shankaracharya warns. And the reason he warns is because the sense objects are the cause of our fall. We get tempted, we indulge, and then that's how fall happens. So that's why. Now we were going to be starting verse 83. Am I right? I have my bookmark there, right? Yeah. Fascination for body criticize. It's nice that Gurudev has given these subheadings. So we know, like he says, 83 to 86. So the body is being criticized. Please understand, the body is needed. Just because it is criticized, it's not that we need it. What we should avoid is thinking that this is it, the body is it, and whatever the body wants I will do, and that is me, and that part has to be avoided. So the body is needed and it needs to be taken care of as well. And let's see what now Bhagwan has to say. Anukshanam yat parirutya krityam anadya vidya krita bandha mokshanam deha parartho yamamushya poshane yasajjate saswamanena hanti. This body is essentially an instrument for realizing the Paramatman. The purpose of the body is being told. He who does not constantly use it for liberating himself from the bondage born of beginningless ignorance, but struggles to nourish it, is destroying himself. So in the beginning of the text, if you remember, Bhagwan already said that this human birth is extremely rare. Already he said. So that was told to tell us the importance of this birth in a human body. We are the jiva that have been born in a human body. And it is our great luck that we have got this human body. The human intellect, the brain is on top. It is the crown of creation. Humans are the crown of creation. So it is very, very lucky that we have got this body. Now we should know, why did I get this body? So most people, not knowing the Shastra, they think that the world is a bhoga bhumi. What is a bhoga bhumi? Bhoga is experience. So they think that this world is meant for experiencing, and the counter for experiencing the world is the body. That part also is going to come. But how do I enjoy the world is through the body only. Suppose if there is a movie to be seen, then I need my eyes. If I have to eat something, enjoy some eatable, then I need my tongue. I need my skin to feel. So the world is experienced. Instead of enjoy, I'll say experienced. So because there are good and bad, both experiences through the body. And most people think that, okay, that is the purpose of the body. It is meant for me to enjoy. That is not the purpose which Shastra says. So Shastra says that the body is an instrument, but the instrument for what? For realization. That's why he's saying, for realizing the Paramatman. So the body has been, that's why we have already said that liberation is not possible in an animal body. Liberation is also not possible in a God body. In the denizens of the heavens, the people, those who live in Swargaloka, even through that body, liberation is not possible. They have to come back into this mortal world and have this human body to realize. That is how important this body is. Now, if this body has been given to us, and if it is so rare, and if so luckily we got it, now we are wasting it by indulging in sense objects, then we have destroyed ourselves as though. We might think that what is the destruction? I'm enjoying, I've got so much money and this and that, but destruction is by means of no freedom from birth and death. And that's the part we don't remember. Like, we don't know how many births we have gone through, and what kind of all the sorrows that we have gone through. We don't remember that. Samarth Ramdas, in his text, there's a text called Verses to the Mind. It's written in Marathi, Manache Shlok. So he says that the fetus in the womb undergoes, it's very painful apparently for the fetus. Doctors can vouch for that. I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But we don't remember that. And apparently it is said that the fetus says to God, I don't want to take birth because I know so much sorrow. The fetus apparently remembers all the past births in the fetal stage. This is how Shastra puts it. So the Shastra is, the Vedas are for something which is beyond the senses. So Shastras say that the fetus actually remembers and prays to God that please don't give me birth. But then the prarabdha of that body pushes it out of the mother's womb. And the minute it comes out, it gets engulfed by Maya and it forgets everything in the past, and then it starts indulging in the world. That is how this Shastra describes it. Okay, now that has happened for us. What to do? It happens for all of us. Now that we have come into this knowledge by some grace of Guru, because of our past karmas, good karmas, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that when you do good karmas for crores and crores and crores of births, then all that joint good karma comes and stands in front of you as a Sadguru. And that Sadguru then instructs you. Now, if the Sadguru is instructing us and we don't follow, then how unlucky are we? That's what I would say. What else can I say, right? We got that Sadguru. He's telling us, we got Bhagavan Shankaracharya here himself telling us. So we must understand the purpose of this body. That doesn't mean you should not enjoy life. You might think, oh, what then? That's why now, we in chapter 13, we studied Adhyatma Nitya, where that this is the purpose, that this body has been given, so constantly be in that thought. We'll again be discussing this idea in Aitareya Upanishad also at a higher level. But right now, even for us to remember that this body is not only meant for enjoying, let me also use my faculties to study, to understand, to remember the Lord, even at a basic level. Let me remember the Lord day and night. So that will also help. And this is what he's saying. So he who does not constantly use it. Now, constantly for us, that's why I'm giving you the 80-20 rule. 50-50 rule at least follow. Maybe start with, okay, 10% of this, start with 10% of the time you are thinking of liberation and 90 you're indulging. Then that 10 can increase to 20, to 30, to 40, to 50. So that way also, and then as you proceed in life and go through life's experiences, then maybe someday it will come to 90% or 95%. And maybe in some future birth, it will be 100%. So understand the purpose of the body, understand its rarity, understand how lucky we are to have come in contact with this knowledge. Now let's not waste this knowledge. Let's practice it. Okay. So that's why he says that if he doesn't use it for trying to liberate himself, and I'll tell you why most people don't want to liberate themselves is because they don't even know they're in bondage. That is the sad part. They don't know. They think this is it. I got this body and the world is there and I have to enjoy life. What else is there in life? It's very rare few who think, is there something more to life? Is it just this, like I get married and I get to have children and then they have children and then I just keep entangled in this? Is that it? So very rarely such thoughts come to people. So that's why now that we have come, but struggles to nourish it. Nourish it means not food like you eat, but nourishing is to, when you intensify your identification with the body. That is what nourishing means here. Nourish generally will mean you eat healthy food and good food and you keep your body nourished. That is not this Vedantic nourishing means you are increasing your identification with the body. You are increasing your identification with the ego, with the I thought, with the doer thing. I did this, I did that, I do so much, I will do so much. This is my New Year's. all that is nourishing, fattening the ego, the body. So that's why Bhagavan says, don't nourish, he's destroying himself. And destroying is here is not a physical death, okay? There's no question. But he will go through like births and births and birth and death through the cycle. All right. So this is what his this fascination should be reduced. Understand that you need the body and take care of it because you need it, not because it is you. Like you take care of your car or your house. You know, something goes wrong, some faucet is not working or toilet is not flushing, you'll immediately get it fixed. Car, you'll immediately. So same way, body also, something is wrong, you get it fixed. Nobody's saying don't. But see what purpose you are doing it for. That should be kept in mind. शरीर पोषणार्थी सन् य आत्मानं दिदृक्षति ग्राहं दारुधिया धृत्वा नदीं तर्तुं स गच्छति. Whoever seeks to rediscover the self by devoting himself to the care of the body is like one who proceeds to cross a river holding on to a shark which one has mistaken for a log of wood. So again, once again, I would like to quote Samarth Ramdas. Samarth Ramdas, for those of you who are not familiar, is the guru of Shivaji. You may have heard the name of Shivaji Maharaj. He was a Maratha king in Maharashtra, and his spiritual guru was Samarth Ramdas. Samarth Ramdas' story is such that at the age of 12 or 13 or something, that time the marriages used to be at a very young age. So he was actually getting married. And in Maharashtra, the thing is they hold a curtain in between the bride and the groom, and they say, chant mantras, and then they say Savadhan. Savadhan means beware. That's what they say. So he was standing there, this 14-year-old kid, his bride was standing on the other side, and the two priests were holding the curtain. That's how they do it. The priests will hold and they will chant loudly. And at the end of every paragraph, it will be Savadhan, they will say. So when he heard that word Savadhan, he really took it to heart. He said, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I getting married? He ran off from the stage. Then, of course, there were people who asked what happened to his wife, but his wife was okay. Don't worry. She survived. He ran off and he said, what am I doing? They're telling me, beware of this sansar, beware of this wedding, marriage. Why am I getting married? And then he devoted his life, bhakti, to Sri Ram. And he did 13 lakh japa standing in water. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. That has got 13 syllables. So when the mantra has got 13 syllables, if you do japa for that many lakh times, like if you easy is to do Om Namah Shivaya, if you want to try 5 syllables, 5 lakhs only. Shri Ram, Jai Ram is really long, it's 13. So he did it 13 lakhs of times, and Shri Ram, then that deity will give you darshan in person. So that is the background of Samarth Ramdas, because I've been quoting him and I thought maybe some of you are not familiar. So through bhakti, he achieved liberation and Sri Ram gave him darshan. So he has written this verses to the mind, and in that also he says, the one who cannot give up the identification with the body, the one who cannot stop thinking that I am the body, can, at the end of the kalpa, means this 4 yugas, even at that time, he cannot get liberation. He can never get liberation. You have to give up this idea that you are the body. You may not know what you are, but don't think you're the body. You're not the body. That's the thing. So that's why he says that if somebody says that what is there, I will enjoy also and I will try to liberate myself also, that is not possible. Bhagavan is saying he's trying to cross the river on a shark, which means that shark is going to eat him. The world will devour you. If you keep on engaging in the world and you think that I can engage as it's like, you're trying to sleep and watch TV at the same time. They're two opposite things. See, you can watch TV and eat. That is okay. But if you say that, I will also have a nice sleep and then let me just watch TV, that is not possible. So this is what it is, that you want to indulge in the world and yet you want to get liberation. That will not be possible. Okay, this is what Bhagavan is warning us. Moha eva mahamrutyuhu mumukshorvapuradishu moho vinirjito yena samukti padamamarhati. For a student seeking liberation, infatuation with the body, etc., is a tragic death. He who has totally conquered this attachment deserves the state of liberation. So once again, a warning that attachment to the body, attachment is what I plus I want. That is what attachment is defined by Gurudev. I plus I. So I am this body, and then because I am the body, then the body needs n number of things. Body needs food, body needs clothes, body needs shoes, body needs a shelter, body needs, comforts. All those things come with that. So your body, whatever is needed, you give it to the body. We are not saying don't, but don't considering it as an instrument. So whatever is needed for the car, don't we give it? Don't we tune up the car? Don't we gas it up? Don't we, wash it periodically? We do everything to the car. Do I think I'm the car? But I keep it in good shape. So that way you keep the body, and uh, don't get deluded by it. Because if you do get deluded, then you cannot get liberation. So there's no question of you de de desiring liberation, because that's not possible. Okay. Moham jahimaham mrutyum dehadar sutadishu yam jitva munayo yanti tad vishno paramam padam. Conquer that great infatuation for your body, wife, children, etc. By conquering these, sages reach the supreme state of Lord Vishnu. Now here, there are three things that are mentioned. One is body, which infatuation with the body, he has already talked about it, considering myself to be the body, and then pampering it, nourishing it, that should not be done. But this wife and son, these two words are used. Wife is somebody you depend, on whom you depend, right? So because spouse, for it's not just for men for men. So spouse is one on whom you depend. So the wife may depend on the husband for earning money, or the husband may depend on the wife for cooking or helping or whatever. And son is one whom you think will look after you. So that is the connotation here. The son depends on you first, and then you think he will take care of you. That is one thing. And the spouse is on whom you depend. So the idea is to give up dependence. That is the idea. So not that you give up wife or son or anything like that. Not that you get, we are householders, we have children and we have spouses and all that, etc. That's fine. But the general idea is try to make yourself as independent as possible. Emotional independence is more important than physical. Sometimes physical independence is, generally the wives will depend on the husband for some heavy work or whatever, that kind of stuff. That is okay, because there are physical limitations. You can't lift something heavy, then you need your child or husband or something to help you. That is one thing. But more so the emotional dependence. The emotional dependence is a thing which tells me that I cannot live without this person. What will happen to me if something happens to that person? That is emotional dependence. So that independence should come. The strength, the mental strength should come that it's okay if I'm alone. It's okay. God is there to look after me. That is what this is. And that's why he says that the sages who have gotten liberation. So Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Padam, the abode. Paramam Supreme. Supreme has got two connotations. One is it is a point of no return. This Vishnu Paramam Padam should not be taken as Vaikuntha Loka. Vishnu Paramam Padam, because Paramam Supreme, because the word Paramam is there. Vishnu Loka is a world. Okay, it is just like Vaikuntha is just like Swarga Loka is there, Gandharva Loka is there, Brahma Loka is there. So these lokas or worlds, they are all points of return. That's why when it is said, Vishnoho Paramam Padam. So Paramam is a point of no return, and a point of no return is liberation. Moksha alone is the point of no return. So that's why this Paramam, Bhagwan Krishna will also uses it, has used it a lot in Bhagavad Gita. So from where there is no return is Paramam, supreme. And that is the highest to be achieved. That is what Shastra tells us. Don't, Bhagwan Shri Krishna tells Arjun, you will get Swargaloka, but why are you aspiring for Swargaloka? Why are you aspiring for a destination from which there is a return? When I'm telling you that there is another destination from which there is no return. So which one is better? A point of no return. So this is what it is. So here Vishnu should be taken as the all-pervading reality. Okay, not Vishnu Bhagwan, not like that. Supreme state of Lord Vishnu. So supreme state of Lord Vishnu is that Satchitananda principle, the Brahman or pure consciousness, pure self, whatever that we may call. Now he goes into gross body and then he'll go into subtle body, etc. Tvakman sarudhirasnayuhu medo majjasti sankulam purnam mutra purishabhyam sthulam nindyamidam vapuhu. This gross body is most offensive. I think doctors can more vouch for this because I only know my outer skin beautiful. The moment you go inside, you know what it is all. Is most offensive as it is composed of skin, flesh, blood vessels, fat, marrow, and bones. And also it is ever filled with urine and fecal matter. Do I need to explain this? No, right? Everybody gets the point. Okay. The reason that Bhagwan has done this is for us to think, am I all that? Am I all that? This is what the gross body is made of. There is nothing else in the gross body. And like I've said before, if God would not have given us a skin, nobody would have looked at nobody. Thank God we have the skin to cover all these internal things. So it is, please take it in the right sense. It is because this book is addressed to seekers of liberation. Okay, so those who are wanting to indulge, they will hear this and they won't like this. But this is just a factual statement. It's a fact. That is what the body is. And what we need to think as seekers is, okay, that is what the body is. I know that. And should I be considering myself to be that? And if the answer says yes, then only God help them. I can't. Okay. All right. So shall we go ahead? पञ्चीकृतेभ्यो भूतेभ्यः स्थूलेभ्यः पूर्वकर्मणा समुत्पन्नमिदं स्थूलं भोगायतनमात्मनः अवस्था जागरस्तस्य स्थूलार्थानुभवो यतः. Made up of the gross elements formed by the combination of the subtle elements and ordered by past actions, this gross body is the seat of experience for the self. The state in which it perceives gross objects is its waking condition. So now more description. We have already seen that it is made up of the 5 elements. I told you the 5 elements are in subtle form, and we saw the potluck lunch. So 5 elements, and then they grossify by dividing themselves. And this is how the body is formed, okay? And ordered by past actions. This is very important. So this gross body is formed. Why do I have a female body? Why am I this height? Why am I this color? Why are my eyes like this? Why is my height so much? Why is my weight so much? This whole entire blueprint of my body, I have only ordained it by my past actions. This part has to be remembered very, very well. because we say God made me short, you know, like if there are short people, they say next birth I want to be tall. God did not make us short, and neither did God make us tall. We ourselves made ourselves short by how? By doing those type of actions in our past lives. And that's why it is ordered by past act. Whose past actions? My own. My own. Who is this me? Jiva. It is not the pure self. The pure self doesn't do any actions. But there is this Jivatma within us, the one who thinks that it is the ego, the one who thinks that I am the doer and I will enjoy. That Jiva travels from birth to birth. The body gets destroyed and burnt or buried, but what is traveling is this Jivatma, and this Jivatma is doing various kinds of actions in every birth, and by those actions that Jivatma ordains itself the next birth. Therefore the Jivatma picks the womb, the mother does not pick the child. That part has to be also remembered very, very well. There is no way that a set of parents, you know, they can only wish, they can only hope, but what is going to be born in their womb, in their family, in their home, is this Jiva who has decided that these are the parents that I want. So I will tell you a story which I heard a few days ago. It's a real, not story, real thing. So there is this Telugu couple in the US, and they very nice couple, and they had a son with Down syndrome. So they were very troubled, you know, they're really nice people, and they were very troubled is why do we have this child? So they went to one of the spiritual masters from India, who had yogic powers. I shall not name him. And he spoke to the jiva of that child. He was not speaking to the child, he was speaking to the jiva. And all of a sudden, he spoke in Tamil. And the parents were Telugu. They didn't understand why he is speaking to my Telugu child, because see, parents think the child is Telugu because he is one of us. But that jiva, we don't know. So that yogi started speaking in Tamil. And that child replied in Tamil. And the parents were totally shocked. They said, what is going on? So later on, they said to the yogi, how does he know this thing? He said, he was not talking to me. The jiva was talking to me. So they said, what did the jiva tell you? So he said, I asked the jiva, why have you come in a body with Down syndrome? See, jiva is different, body is different. That jiva has chosen to come in a body which has Down syndrome. This is because, you know, they say genes and this and that. Science will tell us there is one extra gene or one less, whatever gene or whatever. But this is the jiva. And so he said, but why did you pick a body like this, which is, you know, which has no future? He said, so he told, the jiva told this yogi that in my past birth, I was a farmer in Tamil Nadu. And all my life, right from my childhood, I worked like a, you know, kolu ka bell, they say na in Hindi. That's all I did on the farm. Is from childhood I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked till the day I died. And every single day I thought, you know, my next birth, I do not want to do any work. I do not want to do any work. And so I have picked this body so that nobody will ask me to do any work, because I was very strong in my last life. And this is what I have asked. Now nobody can ask me anything. So then he asked, the yogi asked, but why did you pick these parents then? Jiva only picks everybody. So he says, because I know these parents are very good and they will take very good care of me. And I want them to take care of, I want somebody to take care of me. I am not going to take care of anything in this life. That's why I'm telling you, ordered by our own past actions. It's extremely important words, these 4 words. Now, if our present body has been ordered by our past actions, imagine the future body is being ordered by what? By the actions that we are doing today. And that's why our actions have to be good actions for the future, because otherwise we don't know. That's why we should, this is very important point here. Okay, so our own act, that's why we cannot blame, oh, I'm short, I'm ugly, I'm this thing, everything, we have only made the blueprint, you know, like when a house is built, the people might tell, you know, I want like this, but that architect draws the blueprint, and then the construction workers just do whatever the architect has drawn. So the who is the architect of our body, also mind, it will come further, is me. I have drawn this picture. This is the kind of body that I want, and that is the kind of body that I will come in, and this is the type of parents that I want, and this is the parents that I'm going to. That's why they also say that sometimes our worst enemy comes as our children. They come as, because they say, you know, I want to trouble, and the most trouble we have is from our children. The people who are closest to us trouble us the most. So sometimes our worst enemy from the past life will come as our own child, and then he will trouble us to no end, to no end. That happens. That happens. You can, you know, think of your own experiences. I can tell you my experience, but this is how it is. This is why this Shastra is so right. That is what I'm trying to tell you, ordered by past action. So don't blame, you know, oh, my parents were short, therefore I became short. No, there are short parents and tall children, tall parents and short children. All kinds of things are there. Okay. This gross body is the seat of experience for the self. Okay. So this Jivatma, which is actually the pure consciousness. So it is the seat of, you know, you go to a bank and then there is a counter and then you transact business with the teller, right? That counter is this body, because I need this body to transact. Now I'm transacting by talking to you. So I need the body, or I might cook for somebody, or I might drive somebody. Then everything is done by the body. So the body, through the body, we are experiencing this entire world. All right. The state in which it perceives, so this is a definition of the waking condition. So the three conditions we know: waking, dream, and deep sleep. And in the waking state, the senses and the mind, hopefully the mind, sometimes the mind is wandering, but senses and mind are fully awake, and the body is also fully awake. That is the waking state. Okay. In the dream state, the body is sleeping. So the body is out of the picture, only the mind is at play in the dream. Because the dream, who creates the dream? Mind. Who sees the dream? Mind. Who ordained the dream? Our own vasanas. And where do I see the dream? In the mind. So it is all mind. There is no body there in dream state. And deep sleep, there is no mind and there is no body. These are the three states that we are very, very familiar with. Okay. All right. बाह्येन्द्रियैस्थलपदार्थसेवां स्त्रक्चन्दनस्त्र्यादिविचित्ररूपां करोति जीव स्वयमेतदात्मना तस्मात् प्रशस्तिर्वपुषोऽस्य जागरे. The individualized ego, identifying itself with this body, enjoys gross objects such as garlands, sandal paste, women, etc., of an endless variety by means of the sense organs. Therefore, this body has the greatest play in the waking state. So, gross body is basically only used in the waking state. Now, in the dream state and deep sleep state, there is no use of the gross body. And this body, like that's why we heard that I think I am the body, right? Who is that I? That is the jiva. That is the jiva that I told you is transmigrating and then picking up bodies as per its actions. Jiva is taking up these bodies, right? So this jiva, it is actually the pure consciousness. Actually it is pure consciousness, but it has forgotten that. It forgets. Out of delusion, out of misunderstanding, it forgets. It considers itself to be the body. And because the body is the counter of experiences, so all here it is, of course, given only garland and sandal paste and women, but there could be rotten eggs also thrown at us, or tomatoes also. So it's both. Experience is both good and bad. So some people might honor us, and then there'll be some others who will dishonor us. Okay. So whatever experience is there is experienced through this gross body. And who is experiencing? See, the gross body doesn't know whether a garland of flowers is being put or a garland of shoes is being put, right? Gross body doesn't know. But I know, the jiva knows, oh my God, they've come with a garland of shoes for me. So then I feel insulted because I think I'm the body, right? So it is the counter for experiencing good, bad, neutral, whatever experiences in this world. Okay. Endless variety by means of the sense organs. So the 5 sense organs, they'll be describing that as well. We are perceiving the world through the 5 sense organs. Okay, there is no other way of perception. So there is color, form, there is smell, there is taste, there is touch, and the 5 sense organs. Through this, we are getting all the stimuli from the world, and then that jiva is the one that is enjoying inside. The body doesn't enjoy. If I touch a hot surface, of course, there will be a burn on my skin, but in my mind, I will feel the pain. That is what it is. So that jiva feels that. And this body has the greatest play in the waking state. So without the body, waking state cannot be. Without the mind, dream state cannot be. So it's the same thing. Like in the waking state, body will have a great play. In the dream state, mind will have a great play. Because it's the mind concocting the dream, seeing the dream, everything. Okay. So, sarvopi bhaya samsaraha purushasya yadashrayah viddhi dehamidam sthulam grahavat grahamedhinah. Know this gross body to be the shelter for the individual to conduct all his dealings with the world outside, just as a house is to a householder. So we have our office or we have our house in which we stay. Idea here is, I am staying inside this house. Am I the house? I'm not the house. I stay inside the office and I might be the CEO of the entire company and I might be ordering left, right, and center my employees. But do I become the office? I don't. It is my place of shelter. It is my place of staying. It is my office or house. So same way, this body is the shelter for the jiva, and the jiva is conducting business with outside. This has to be understood very, very clearly. What is happening right now is, I am taking this house to be me. So the body to be me. That's why this example is given. Grahavat, graha medhina, grahavat, graha house, what like this house. I'm staying inside this house, but I do not become the house. I am not the house. But I am actually staying inside the body, but I think I'm the body. That's the mistake. That's why we always say that consider the body as a temple of God. Because inside is the pure consciousness. So if I consider this body to be a temple of God, will I put wrong things in the body? Will I smoke? Will I drink? Will I do drugs? Because then I'm bringing all that garbage into the temple of God. So that is one way of, thinking. So what is being done is the master is helping us to separate ourselves from the body. Not physically separate. Physically, nothing can happen. But in your mind, you just like I am in this house, in this room, I am in this body. And I am different from the body. I am not the body. I cannot be the body. Because that's why body was described as only bone and flesh and marrow and urine and fecal matter and all that. So that I cannot be. Okay? स्थूलस्य सम्भव जरामराणि धर्माः स्थौल्यादयो बहुविधा शिशुताद्यवस्थाः वर्णाश्रमादि नियमा बहुधा मया स्युः पूजावमान बहुमान मुखा विशेषाः. Birth, decay, and death are the essential properties of the gross body. Now, what are the properties of the body? Fatness, etc., childhood, etc., are its different conditions. It has rules of caste and orders of life. It is subject to a variety of diseases, and it is this body that meets with different kinds of treatment, such as worship, dishonor, honor, etc. This is also very, very important. So the gross body, as we know, has got the 6 modifications, but Kathopanishad tells us that, and also then Bhagwan picks up the verse from Kathopanishad. So there is existence. So the feet, asti, that's the first one, asti, it is. So the fetus is, and then it takes birth. So then the next modification, first is asti. The first modification is asti. Second modification is birth, janma. Then there is growth, the body grows. Then the body changes. So the body grows and change, and I'll explain the difference between the two. So there is asti, birth, growth, then change, then there is decay or disease, and then there is death. So these are the 6 modifications. So asti, I told you, when the fetus appears in the womb, that is a modification. So that's the first change. Second is it takes birth, the second change. It grows taller. So this growth, there is an addition of cells. So first you grow vertically, then you grow horizontally. Both are growth. There is an addition of cells. Unfortunately, we are fighting to not grow horizontally, but we do. So that, and changes when I go gray. So the example in Shastras they give is of the tomato. The tomato, it seems, it is green and it goes to its full size and then it changes color to red. It doesn't become red like that. So that is the change. For us, gray hair, graying hair is the change. There is no addition or deletion of cells when the hair is going gray. Okay, so that is the difference between growth and change. So those are the 2 modifications. And disease, oh my Lord, COVID is rampant right now. So, and there are many others. COVID is just one of it. So we know body gets disease. And finally, the body dies, I do not die. That part has to be, we have to be firmly established in that. Whatever is dying is this body, not me, not me. That is what will take away the fear of everything. So these are the essential properties of the body. That's why also it is the not self. Those of you who have studied chapter 13 with me, there kshetra, kshetrajna. So kshetra was described as that which was seen and changing. This is changing. That's why this body is kshetra, connected to Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so this is the kshetra, and then it has conditions, right? So it's born as a baby, then the baby grows, then there is childhood, then the baby becomes fat or baby becomes thin, and then there is youth, and then there is middle age, and then there is old age, and all this. So these are the conditions of the body. So it has these changes, modifications, and these are the conditions. And then the body has varna and ashrama. The Jivatma has no varna and no ashrama. So varna, you know, ashrama is brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyas, and varna is Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. These 8 categories, varna and 4 varnas and 4 ashramas, are to the body. They are not, the jiva is not a Brahmin. The jiva is not a Shudra. The jiva is not a doctor, not an engineer, not the jiva is nothing. It is not female, it is not male. Body is male, female, tall, short, everything. So this is to be understood, that all these things are to the body, and therefore this body is the one that will get the treatment. Like either somebody will come and give us a garland of flowers, or it will be shoes. But it is the body. The part to be understood is it is the body. It is not me. It's the body. That part has to be understood. This part is very elaborately described in a text called Bhikshu Gita, which appears in Bhagavad Puran. The story of this Bhikshu Gita is such that there was this man who was a loan shark. So he was very cruel, you know, like he used to loan money, and then the interest, how loan sharks are, like the interest is 100% interest he was charging, and he was very rude to people, cruel to people, you know, did all kinds of bad things. But somehow, due to his purva karma, purva janma punya, it is called, it's the merits of the past birth, he realized one day. Suddenly he realized that he is not all this, he is not the body, he is the pure self. And he gave up everything and he started wandering like a wandering monk. But the people could not believe that. The people said there is no way that this guy who was so cruel, who was so, like after money, and like he would do anything to get his money back, etc., etc., how can this man change so much? So they treated him so badly, in the sense they would go and spit on him, they would go urinate on him, they did all kinds of things. But he was really realized, and he said, what is it to me? This is like my shadow, said. So this is the part that we have to understand. At least keep it in mind. No, we have to realize if somewhere we will run. But the point is that I am not the body, is what is Bhagwan Shankaracharya is hammering into us. That part has to be remembered. Okay, so whatever changes are happening to the, or if somebody comes, oh, you are a backward class in India, it is not here, you're okay, fine, I'm backward. What is there? It's the body, it's not me. You're fat. Okay. So one person said to another person, you are stupid, he said. So this person said, abhi pata chala, you came to know now only. That is how we have to treat it. Okay, stupid, because I am not stupid. Body, my mind may be stupid, my mind may not understand things. Okay, agreed, but I have got the mind, so what has it got to do with me? Okay, so this separation, this is Viveka that is going on. I'll stop here. We'll start with organs of perception and action. Om swasti prajabhyav paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahitah brahmana santu nirbhayaha om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu सर्वेषां मंगलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।